welcome to the 2050 Perfect League World Series coverage. I am your host, DRC, and we are here to bring you the 2050 Perfect League World Series. And tonight is an odd night. I can already tell tonight's going to be a little bit of a different stream, and we'll get into a little bit of why that is. But first, like we always do, let's catch up. Who's in the chat? Who's in the chat? How we doing? What's good about your weekend? It's a thunderstorming Sunday night here in the Chicagoland area, but I hope you guys are doing well. All right, so the best way for me to start off tonight is to tell my story a little bit. So as you can see from your screen here, and as you'll see from the Puma victim scroll at the bottom of it, I am and have been eaten by the relegation Puma this week. It's been a good 13-week run. 13 weeks is 1/4 of a year, but my time is up. But all is not lost. A portion of why my time is up is that this week I was entirely unplugged from out of the park. Actually went down to Orlando, did Disney World, did Universal Studios, had a great time with the family, but in so doing, you lose out on the micromanagement of your team, of your bullpen maintenance, of your starting pitcher optimization, and that's going to cost you. That's going to cost you some games. And, whether it was just that or whether that was but one of a many factor, it was enough to see me end the season 2.5 games out of the wild card race, as you see on your screen here. Now, I tried to not publicize this time away because I didn't want the very astute managers within the NC conference to know that they'd be getting a pretty vanilla game plan and deployment strategy from me. But I don't know that it took the Crozet Storm Kings and CF Genesis very long to figure out that I was doing the exact same thing over and over and over again, and to be able to play around that. So unfortunate, as it were, but can't say that I regret the time away, and it was a great time. All right, let's see what's going on in the chat here. Having the most rain in years on the West Coast for Meme Lord. Gonna be weird seeing the Nomads on the bottom of the screen tonight. Weird for me and you both. Definitely don't like being down there. Cavicom rating with a party of 9. Welcome in. Thanks for coming. Why not 14 weeks? Love it. Gabagoo Luigi. Got a first-time chatter here. Weekend would have been better if the AI would follow simple instructions. Enough said. Yeah, I understand your frustration, your challenges there. I think we have all wrestled with the AI a time or two. PT lost in thought, lost in the divisional round of the Gold League. Not mad about how the team did, though. That's good. Rain here in Boise for Brent3232. Out of the frying pan into the fire, says Luke1111. Kitty Poo Poo checking in as well. But just because I'm not part of the World Series broadcast, and just because I am actually getting kicked out of the league, doesn't mean we can't have a good time tonight, and that's exactly what we'll do. So for anyone new, for anyone wondering why you're here, what you're about to see, you are going to see the Perfect League World Series. Now, what is the Perfect League? The Perfect League is the top of the food chain in the Perfect Team ecosystem. So the ecosystem itself is a gigantic ladder, and you have to work your way up the ladder one level at a time. There's no shortcuts. There's no way to speed run it. There's no way to do it in a single week. At a minimum, you are taking, 8 weeks to get to perfect, and then once you're there, you have the daunting task of staying there. You have the daunting task of making the playoffs. And if you do not make the playoffs, you are shipped right back down. As you can see, there are many diamond leagues. There are even more gold leagues, even more silver leagues. There is only one perfect league, and if you don't make the playoffs, as I did in this week, you get shipped back down, and the only way to get back in is to win a diamond league. So as we're watching the World Series tonight, we are seeing 40 teams that at one point or another won a diamond league and have been staying in perfect ever since then, and now are competing at the end of a 16-team tournament for the ultimate honors of the week. So what do we have tonight? Who will be playing? We will have the Everett Aqua Sox versus the Syracuse Schens. Now, one of these teams I'm extremely familiar with, as the Everett Aqua Sox beat me in my first World Series appearance this game cycle. So they are a champion. We'll talk about them here in a second. And they're facing the Syracuse Schens, which is a team that I did not know much about. And we'll get into why that is. But let's first start with the Aqua Sox. Managed by Twins fan, we'll follow the same path that we like to do to understand what makes a team tick, what makes them unique, how they deploy their players. So the first thing I like to look at is runs scored. So the Everett Aqua Sox, an offensive juggernaut, scoring 738 runs over the course of the season. Good for fifth in the conference. Now, from a run prevention perspective, really not all that great. 736 runs allowed for a run differential of +2. So a team that scores a lot, a team that gives up a lot. And it has a lot to do with the defense here. Our defensive efficiency is well beneath our landmark that we shoot for, 0.7. We like our defensive efficiency to be right at 0.7, and this is well beneath it here at 0.677. The zone rating also negative as well. That has some to do with the ballpark, but cannot entirely be attributed to it. Now, from a home-road split perspective, this was a 58% winning team at home, a 47-win season on their home slate. Now, on the road, they struggled. Only 36 and 46. So you put the two together and you're looking at a 3 games over 500 regular season. You notice that their game total adds up to 163, and that's because the Everett Aqua Sox required a game 163 to earn passage into the postseason. Now, from a calendar perspective, pretty even throughout. Couple games up, couple games below 500. The low point being a really tough August at 11 and 17. The high point being a 16 and 12 May. Now let's look at their ballpark. Now, how do they tune their ballpark? For anyone unfamiliar, you're able to customize your ballpark in Perfect Team to make it play as either more of a power park, more of a gap park, or more of a high average park. Now, what the Twins fan has going here is a maxed out batting average on balls in play park. So 1.1 average multiplier for the left-handed batters, a 1.1 multiplier for the right-handed batters. So in total, all batters are going to have the maximum boost to their batting average possible. Now, as you'll see, their extra bases here, their doubles and triples, are cut in half. So going from 1 to 0.5, and their home runs are minned out as well at 0.9 each way. So as we think about players that would thrive in this ballpark, you want to think about players that have a high batting average, but don't provide a ton of value in the home run department or in the extra base hit department, and likely can add value in terms of stealing bases. Adding value and able to take the extra base, going from first to third, scoring from second on a single, stealing bases straight. And as we look at the Aqua Sox build, we'll see some of that here. So we have Billy Hamilton leading off. We've got Kurt Welch, which is a rare tournament card. Maybe you haven't seen it yet. It's a very defensive center fielder that is one heck of a base stealer and makes some good contact. Now, the quality of the contact isn't all that great. It's not a very powerful hitter, not a very high eye hitter, but makes decent amount of contact, can hit for a decent average, and in this ballpark can steal a lot of bases. You see that they stole 78 bases over the course of this season. So we have a Kurt Welch in play. We have Willie Keeler, who really belongs only in this ballpark at this point in the meta, in my opinion. Not a bad choice, but just someone who has been lapped by some of the more recent releases we have here. But Willie Keeler plays a good right field, steals bases, and hits for a high batting average, so absolutely fits to the park here. We've got a Roger Connor, new Ichiro card, Frankie Frisch down at second base, George Davis as well. From a pitching perspective, we'll sort by innings here, and we see that Maddox and Rixey, to no surprise here, are eating the most of them. Maddox going 243 innings over the course of the campaign. Rixey just beneath that at 236. So both of them not just pitching every fifth day, but doing so and going deep into ballparks. As far as how they filled out their rotation in the regular season, you had Dwight Gooden, Corbin Burns, and Cliff Lee picking up the lion's share of the load. However, you had Steve Carlton, Carlos Rodon, Walker Buehler picking up starts here and there as well. As we look at the bullpen, we see that the bullpen is with everyone labeled as middle relief. Now, this is something that some people do to give the AI an assist, to give the AI a better chance at making what they deem to be the right decision. Now, let me walk you through the logic there for a second. Now, if you have someone as specialist, someone as middle relief, someone as setup, someone as stopper, someone as closer, the AI can, in theory, struggle to place the right person in the right situation. Because what if it's the perfect situation for a setup guy, but your setup guys are tired? Will the AI go to middle relief because they're rested? Will they force a setup guy in there? Will they reach for the stopper? That uncertainty is something that some people try to avoid by labeling everyone as middle relief so that it's pretty cut and dried. It's going with the best rested pitcher that can be deployed in that moment. Now, it's not something that I have always subscribed to. I actually did it this week because I was going to be away from keyboard. But typically I'm going with more of a blend of roles, but not something that is without merit. Not something without merit at all. All right, so that is the pitchers. Now let's look at the path. How did Twins fan get to this point? Round 1, a 3-0 sweep over the Burlington Big Stick. Round 2, a 4-1 defeat over the Cartier Cutthroats. And then round 3, taking down the Achievers in 5 games as well. As you see here, with a margin of a victory of 3 games in each of their series, the Aqua Sox really have not been challenged yet in this postseason. With each series going pretty swimmingly and going pretty quickly, they are entering this World Series as the more rested team as well. Now, from a historical perspective, the Aqua Sox, and I'll pull up their all-time performance chart here. The Aqua Sox are a perfect league champion. They won in 2041, 9 weeks ago. They have been to perfect league now 3 different times, winning the Diamond World Series in 2039 and 2044 and in 2049, leading up to this week. And then within perfect league, they've now amassed 510 total regular season wins. They are playing for their second perfect league title here tonight. Now on the other side, we have the Syracuse Schens. Let's dig into them. So from a run scored perspective, 727, pretty close in raw run scoring to the Everett Aqua Sox, but where they deviate here is on the runs allowed. 587 runs allowed, which is about 130 less than the Aqua Sox. So scoring a lot of runs and giving up very few, the best combo that you can look for there. From a defensive perspective, they're very good. 0.71 on the efficiency, which as we remember from the Aqua Sox, they were 0.67. And then the zone rating grossing up over 0 as well, all the way up to 18.5, a much more favorable number as well. Now from a home road split perspective, we have a 52-win home campaign, and then also a 45-win road campaign. Difficult to pick up 45 road wins in Perfect League, but that's exactly what the Schens did this week. And then from a calendar perspective, extremely consistent. Over 500 every single month leading up to a September where they just traded paint for 28 games, going 14-14. But really a dominant 97-win week for the Syracuse Schens. Now let's look at the ballpark. So the ballpark itself is neutral from an average perspective. It's neutral from a doubles and triples perspective, but it's minned out from a home runs perspective. So playing away from the power hitter, really trying to bring the power hitter down. We'll see how well the build reflects that here. So we'll look at the lineups overview. Now, who might play well in a park like this? Someone who gets some value hitting into the gaps, someone who hits for average, but really has that hole in their game of the over-the-fence power. So someone like Pete Rose, Billy Hamilton, an Ichiro Suzuki, Kurt Welch, another sighting here, Huey Jennings, all guys that fit this park well, and all guys that had a pretty darn good season here. We see that the Syracuse Schens' Billy Hamilton picked up a 5.7 wins above replacement season while picking up 85 stolen bases in the process. A BAT R of 18.2, a BSR of 15.2, a ZR of 5.3, One of the more dominant seasons we've seen in Perfect League in some time here. Now let's look at the pitching staff. So what we have here is what we call the old 5 horsemen approach here. So pick your 5 starters and then ride them as far as you can. And the 5 chosen starters here for Syracuse is Maddox, Richie, Gooden, Burns, and then Smoltz in that 5th spot. And those guys more or less picking up every start of this given season, with 4 of them amassing over 200 innings pitched. Now in the back end of the bullpen, we had Harvey Haddix, Noodles Hahn, and Gaylord Perry picking up the most innings in some critical spots back there. Now let's look at the path. How did the Schens get to this point? Round 1. Round 1 saw the Schens taking out my favorite team, the Diamond City Taurus, 3-0. Round 2 taking down RDT and his Colorado Expansions, 4-2. And then round 3 taking down Perfect League champion Sparrow and his Maine Whiskey Tango, 4-2 as well. So the Syracuse Schens not yet having faced an elimination game either. We'll go ahead and load up this sim, and then we'll show the history table for the Syracuse Schens, and we talk about a little bit about their history in the game. Here are your Syracuse Schens. And there they go. And here they're back. So as he's sharing in the chat, the Syracuse Schens are a first-timer. First time ever in Perfect. You see their stats here. Greg Maddox with a 7.6 WAR season. Epirixie 5.2. The Billy Hamilton 5.7 season. You can see him down in the hitters table. And then you see the single and lone season there. And the Syracuse Schens will leave this week either with a World Series win or a World Series loss denoted right to the side of that. One heck of a rookie season for the Schens. So with that out of the way, it's time to pick some hot seat inhabitants. So I will open up this drawing that you can get into by typing !ticket into the chat, and that's going to enter you into the drawing. Now, if you're unfamiliar, the hot seat is an opportunity to win an uncapped amount of perfect points. And one winner will be chosen per game that we share on the stream tonight. And for that winner assigned to that game, for every home run hit during that game, you will win 10,000 perfect points with no upper limit. So if there's 10 home runs hit, that's 100 perfect points in your pocket. Our record, which hopefully we can break tonight, I believe is 5. So make sure you put the exclamation point in front of the ticket there. Blazer patch, I see just with ticket there. Make sure you get the exclamation point so that you can be into the drawing. And we will close that down here in just a second. And hopefully we get a lot of dingers tonight. Now, as we look at the home runs for both ballparks, they have minimum home run factors. So direct your anger towards the Syracuse Schens and the Everett Aqua Sox for giving us yet another home run nerfed World Series. All right, we'll go ahead and close down the giveaway. Game 1's winner is Vaughn Rockhounds. Game 2 will belong to Rob Deer in the headlights. So we will go ahead and update our screen. Let's make sure we spell this. Let's see if it can even fit. Vaughn Rockhounds. Ooh, baby. Just fits on the screen there. As Logan Gilbert sells. So congratulations to our winners. Let me close that giveaway. Very good. Now it's time to get to game 1. So let me put you guys on hide for a second, and we'll load up the highlights. So I believe that I've got my crowd noise working again. I believe I've got everything configured, but you guys are my guinea pigs. I did some test recordings, but nothing as good as the real thing. So if you're not hearing the crowd, if you're not hearing this or that, or things are too loud, be sure you let me know in the chat, and I'll adjust it. Again, there was a software update that came through my Stream Deck, which caused everything to go into a bit of chaos, but we'll work through it together. Josh in the chat asking if I sold my Connor Ricky Davis. I actually did. So today, with my team heading down, I decided to shake things up. I moved some guys out of the organization, and we're going to rebuild tonight and figure out the best way forward as we move on down to Diamond. Well, let's get this game started. So we do start in Syracuse, and as a reminder, this is the neutral average, neutral gaps park with minimum power. And we'll have Epirixi on the hill for the Schens. 2-2 count. He'll start off against the Aqua Sox, Kurt Welch, who's wearing that snowflake. If you look at the lineup card, you never want to see that. There's the wind, there's the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. The Schens will start off this World Series in style as we play in what very similarly resembles Rogers Center in Toronto. Now, we'll go ahead and time warp to the top of the 4th. Everett Aqua Sox still at the plate, this time with Billy Hamilton in scoring position. He's at third base with 1 out. Epirixi still on the hill for the Schens. We've got the infield shifted as well as drawn in. They're looking to gun down Hamilton at the plate on this one. The 3-1 count to Roger Connor. Comes set, delivers. This ball will miss low. Not the worst outcome, as now you set up the double play ball with Mike Schmidt on his way up. We'll see if the Schens stay with infield drawn in or if they move back to corners in. Well, here's Schmidt, and it looks like Connor has stolen second base, so no double play in order, but we see the Schens now conceding the run. Back at all 4 infield positions with Mike Schmidt at the plate. Rixey set, he delivers. Schmidt drives this one on over to second base. It's played. Throw on over to first for the second out. A run does score as Hamilton crosses. It is now 1-0 Aqua Sox lead. Fast forward again to the top of the 7th inning. And here with 2 outs, we have the Schens' Bob Gibson on the hill, pitching to Bill Freehand. Now, a decent opportunity here to use our matchup analyzer, which we haven't used yet. Now, for anyone unfamiliar, the matchup analyzer is where we take statistics that are generated in Perfect League and we mash them all up so that we're able to look at a matchup like this and try to make an assessment about how good or bad this matchup is for the hitter or the pitcher. So we'll do so now. So we'll put Bob Gibson into the matchup analyzer. We'll look at his statistics for just versus right-handed batters. We'll look at Bill Freehand for just versus right-handed pitching. And in this example, you can see that Freehand is absolutely terrible versus right-hand pitching. You can also see that Bob Gibson is pretty darn good. He really limits the home run ball. The ERA is well beneath perfect league average, almost a run beneath the perfect league average. So a great opportunity here for the Schens to get out of this jam in the 7th and see if they can't get their first hit in this game. As the top left scoreboard tells you, the Syracuse Schens still being no hit to this point. Gibson comes set, delivers, and Freehand rockets this one down the left field line. Connor will score easily as Freehand lounges his way into second base. It's a sliding RBI double and an unlikely one, doubling up the Aqua Sox lead to 2. We now go top 8. The Schens still being no hit, but they are being threatened here in the top half as the Aqua Sox are batting. It's Bob Gibson still on the hill. He's facing Mike Schmidt in this instance with the bases loaded. So we'll take a look at the matchup analyzer for this. Again, a very heavily favored matchup for Bob Gibson, but he's run the count full. The runners will be off with the pitch here. Fans do come to their feet to give Gibson some emotional support to get through this moment. Gibson set, delivers. Ball 4. Walks him wide. Went with the heater. Did not get the call as the catcher had to reach to his right for it. That's going to be ball 4. That's going to be walking in a run as Kurt Welch comes home for the third run of this game. We now go bottom 9. It's a 3-0 Aqua Sox lead. The Schens still looking for their first run, but perhaps they should start with their first hit of this game. Geo Bond Rockhounds still looking for their first home run as well. Epirixie to Jackie to get things started. Wind and the pitch. Jackie shoots this one down the left field line. It will go into the corner. The no-hitter is gone. Jackie walks on into second, a stand-up double, and the Schens finally have a leadoff man aboard. Next up is Kurt Welch. 1-0 count on him. Wind and the pitch, and Welch shoots this one to the opposite field. A base hit to right. Jackie Robinson will hold at third. No reason to press his luck on this one. His run doesn't matter nearly as much as the two to follow. So now the Syracuse Schens have runners at the corners, nobody out, and Huey Jennings coming up. All of a sudden, the Schens, dormant for the entire game, have themselves a puncher's chance here in the ninth. We'll take a look at Huey Jennings versus left, and then we'll compare that to Epirixie versus right. Dare I say, advantage to the hitter. Full count. The pitch. Fly ball right field. Back goes Ichiro. He will make the grab. Tagging is Jackie. He'll score without a throw. It's the first run of the game for the Schens, but unfortunately for them, they had to give up an out in the process. And unable to advance on the play is Welch. So now one away. It's a 3-1 ball game. And the lineup card will flip over for Billy Hamilton. Hamilton faces Rixey in a left-on-left matchup. Rixey comes set, delivers, ground ball up the middle, could be two to second, one onto first, not in time. Billy Hamilton able to beat the back end of the relay there. That'll extend this game for at least one more batter. And up to the plate strolls one of our old friends, Wander Franco. We don't see much of him anymore, but Wander Franco was a mainstay on these Perfect League World Series broadcasts for a very long time. We'll flash up what statistics we do have from the Perfect League. He's got 5,000 plate appearances over the past 3 weeks. So much more lightly utilized than before, but still can get it done. As you can see, his BAT R, which is a metric to compare him to the average Perfect League hitter, is positive. It's 1.4. So Wander Franco, not the worst guy to have up in this situation, especially when you need a long one. The pitch. Ground ball to short. Fielded by Dahlin. Throw to second in time, and that will be the ball game. The Everett Aqua Sox come into Syracuse and steal game one. In a pitcher's duel that sees 4 hits total combined by both sides, the Aqua Sox actually scoring more runs than they had hits. 3 versus 2. They win this game by a final score of 3-1. Unfortunately for Geobon Rockhounds, no home runs in this ball game. Let's take a look at the box score. So what did we have tonight? Why did we have no offense? Well, we had Everett rocking an opener-follower situation. Doc Gooden opened the game, went 2 strong innings, faced 6 batters, retired them all, inducing a double play around one of his walks. And then Epirixie came in the game and was lights out as well, going 7 innings, only allowing 2 base runners, but one of them scoring. Now for Syracuse, their Epirixie was great too, but was a touch on the wild side. 3 walks to go with the 1 hit earned, or 1 hit allowed, in 6 2/3 innings. 2 earned runs total. One of them brought in as an inherited runner from Bob Gibson. So Gibson gave up, the 1 hit he gave up was to Bill Freehan. A very unlikely Base hit to allow, given how bad freehand is versus right-hand pitching. And then Gibson walked in a run himself. So we'll update some things. We'll give some road fireworks there. I know the winning team always deserves fireworks, even when they're the road team. And we give game 1 to the Aqua Sox. I've got a little PTSD typing Aqua Sox up here because it reminds me of the World Series that I lost to them. I believe it was a 6-gamer, and every time I typed up Aqua Sox, it was equally as painful as the one before it. So Aqua Sox take game 1. Let's prepare ourselves for game 2. Our scheduled starters are Maddox on both sides. And in this ballpark, I mean, shoot, Maddox is good in every ballpark, but in this ballpark, where the average is neutral, the gaps are neutral, and the home runs are minned out, it's not going to have a huge impact on him. Maddox gives up no home runs anyway. And I'll show you his home runs allowed global stats right here. So if you look at the matchup analyzer here, you see that Greg Maddox is giving up .27 home runs per 9 innings. So no matter what park he's pitching in, he's doing just fine. So this park won't have much of an impact on him. All right, let's see what I've missed in the chat during that game. Puma got some tough teams this week, says Minerva. Well, I like to believe that, as I was one of them. We had Dish showing up. What's going on, Dish? Kidneys laughing at the Bill Freehand statistics. Let's see. Very good. So game number 2, sim is ready. We'll go ahead and pop that open as we load in our hot seat. Now, if you did not get into the drawing, or if you did not win the drawing for games 1 or game 2 hot seats, do stick around, as we will be drawing hot seat winners for games 3, 4, and 5, and then as well as game 6 and 7 if needed. Very long usernames here. Looking to break my text box. I think Rob Deere might have just done it. Look at that. Rob Deere obliterated my text box here. So we're just going to type Rob Deere, and we're just going to leave it at that. So Rob Deere in the headlights, you are now in the hot seat, my friend, for game 2, as we have both teams having Maddox pitch against them. Not the matchup that you'd want for your hot seat if you could choose it. But you never know. Bill Freehand's getting hits off Bob Gibson. It wasn't Bob Gibson. Who was it? I can't recall. Either way, we're going to get started here. It's Maddox versus Hamilton. Maddox ready to throw this first pitch. The wind. The delivery. Fly ball to right. Well hit, but playable. Ichiro's going to slide over. He'll make the grab. 1 up and 1 down as we start game 2. Still here in the first. Next batter is Kurt Welch. 3-1 count. The pitch. And this ball is belted deep to left field. Giving chase is Hamilton. He can do nothing but look up as this one sails in between the area of the first row of the fans and the outfield fence. That's a one-run solo shot here by Kurt Welch off of Maddox here at the top of the first. It is an early Aqua Sox lead. It is 10,000 perfect points for Rob Deere. Geo Bond Rockhounds feeling the bad beat in the chat as we speak. We go bottom 2. Hamilton now facing Steve Carlton. Left on left matchup. 2 aboard, 2 out, the pitch. And Hamilton cranks this one down the right field line and through. Scoring easily is Ichiro. Huey Jennings on his horse. Will they send him? They will. The play at the plate. Not in time. Huey Jennings scores from first on a Billy Hamilton double. And just like that, the Syracuse Schens have tied it up in the second. 2-2. We go top three, and in a game featuring Maddox versus Maddox, we were not expecting early and often scoring, but that's what we've gotten to this point. And here in the top of the third, the Aqua Sox looking to add to it. Billy Hamilton will lead off this inning. Fly ball, deep center field. That ball is down for extras. Billy Hamilton heads on into second base. It's a leadoff double. And the Aqua Sox in business here in the third. Now two aboard as Kurt Welch has joined him. So Welch has a home run, and then Welch has some other mode that he's gotten on base with, whether it be a walk, single, infield hit, who knows. But up comes Roger Connor, and Roger Connor is a dangerous, dangerous hitter. This is a guy that I sold a few short hours ago, but I didn't sell him because he's not good. He is the most dangerous hitter in all of Perfect Team, and especially when you isolate his versus right-hand pitching plate appearances. As you look at our matchup here, you see Connor and his 879 OPS going up against Maddox's versus left split, which shows some vulnerability in the whip, walk, and K per 9 department. A huge opportunity here for the Aqua Sox. And again, this is not any old Roger Connor. Why, no. This is fire Roger Connor. And he's got a full count. Maddox delivers. Ball 4. Perhaps a smart thing to do there. Walking Roger Connor, pushing things over to Ichiro Suzuki. Now it looks like Suzuki has walked as well. We've got an off-screen run here. So the Aqua Sox now leading 3-2. And up comes Arki Vaughn. Maddox looking to turn 2 here. The infield defense back as well. The pitch. Fly ball left field. Playable. Could be a play at the plate. Catch made. Throw home. Here comes Welch. Play at the plate. Safe. Welch, an excellent base runner. Got a great jump on this one. Slides in ahead of the Billy Hamilton throw. Bill Dickey did his best to block the plate, but only so much can be done when you've got a speed demon like Welch whistling down that baseline. It is now 4-2 Aqua Sox. Still here in the top of the third. Next batter is Bill Dickey. The Schens Maddox looking to get out of this inning here. 2-1 count. The pitch. Line drive up the middle, a base hit. Around third is Connor. He's going to try to score. Here comes the throw from Welch. Not in time. Roger Connor scores ahead of the throw. It is now 5-2 Aqua Sox. Greg Maddox getting lit up here in Game 2. We go bottom 3. The Schens have some work to do to dig out of this hole. They now trail by 3. They're facing Steve Carlton as Lou Gehrig steps in. Lou Gehrig, 2-2 count. The pitch. Gehrig ground ball to first, could be 2. To second, 1. Back to first. In time, double play. Very slick play by Roger Connor there. In the same motion, he fields it and throws it on to Arki Vaughn, who catches it and rifles it right back to Connor, covering the bag for himself. A 3-6-3 double play, and that's 2 outs here in the third for the Schens. It is now 7-2 Aqua Sox as they're pouring it on, but we are in the bottom of the fourth now, and the Schens have runners at the corners. Hamilton versus Carlton. The pitch. Hamilton crushes this one deep to left center. That's going to go off the top of the wall. Scoring easily is Suzuki. Huey around third. He will score. Into third is Billy Hamilton with a 2 RBI triple. They cut into the 5-run Aqua Sox lead. It is now a 7-4 ball game with 2 outs here in the fourth. We now go bottom 7. Score still as it was, still 7-4. Carlton still in this game for the Aqua Sox. 1 out, he pitches to Pete Rose. Wind and the pitch. And Rose gets into this one. Deep left field. Gone! Pete Rose reaches the seats. Steve Carlton throws a 2-0 get-me-over fastball, and Pete Rose clears his hips and shoots this one out, wrapping it around the foul pole. It is now a 7-5 game. Rob Deere is now 20,000 perfect points richer, and the Schens now only trail by 2, and have given this Syracuse crowd something to cheer about. We move to the top of the 9th, score still 7-5, but the Schens need to hold it here if they want to mount a rally in the bottom half. First, they've got to get through Kurt Welch here in the top half of the 9th with 1 away. Wind and the pitch. And Welch crushes this one. Deep to left field, Billy Hamilton can only watch. A second home run of the game for Kurt Welch. Makes it 8-5 Aqua Sox. 30,000 perfect points to Rob Deere. I should say the whole username. Rob Deere in the headlights. I know I had to shorten it for the screen, but that doesn't need to be shortened when I'm talking. Still top 9, Connor batting versus Noodles Hahn. And again, it's not any Connor. This is fire. Connor. Now, could Rob Deere get 10,000 more perfect points richer? 0-1 count. Wind and the pitch. The little looper out behind short. That ball's going to get down. It's a base hit. Connor hustling out of the box will have to hold it first. Welch able to run over and bring the ball in time to keep him at a single. So we go to the bottom of the 9th. The Schens have a 3-run deficit to dig out of, and they'll have to do so versus Special Edition Lefty Grove card. Leading the effort here will be Huey Jennings, and then the top of the order. 0-1 count. Wind and the pitch. Line drive, base hit left field. Huey Jennings shoots the gap between the third baseman and shortstop. It's a leadoff single. But similar to yesterday's game, the Schens need more than a single run. They need to mount a bit of a rally here. Next up, Bill Freehan. Fire Bill Freehan. The pitch. Fly ball, right field, well hit. Going back is Suzuki. Back to the track. Back to the wall. He will make the grab. Bill Freehan didn't miss this one by much, but this one ends in the glove of Ichiro Suzuki and is the first out of this 9th inning. Rob Deere in the headlights just missed one there. We are now down to the final strike of this game. Lefty Grove faces Jackie Robinson. Still has his 3-run lead. Pitching around a base runner at first. We'll get our matchup analyzer right for this matchup here. Thanks for the follow, Bane Deasy. Here's Jackie Robinson and what he does versus left-handed pitching. And then let me find Lefty Grove. And what he does versus right-handed hitting. Definitely an advantage for the hitter here. 2-2 count. The pitch. Little flare out to right center. That ball will find the ground. A little flare single for Jackie Robinson. It's going to succeed in bringing up the tying run. Now it's going to be in the form of Lou Gehrig, a left-handed hitter. With Lefty Grove on the mound, will we see the Schens go to their bench, or will Lou Gehrig come up in this tough matchup for him? It will be Lou Gehrig. So let's go ahead and check out the matchup analyzer. Here's Lou Gehrig versus left. It's not a horrible statistic line here. It's a negative BAT-R, but not significantly. Now let's look at Lefty Grove versus left. You see his numbers get a lot prettier when we toggle from VR to VL. He needs one out here to give his Aqua Sox a 2-0 series lead. The pitch. Ground ball up the middle. Throw to first in time, and that will do it. The Everett Aqua Sox now lead this series 2-0 after winning Game 2 by a final score of 8-5. They do their famous interpretive dance routine that is known worldwide out in front of home plate here in the Syracuse Diamond. Let's give them some road fireworks. So the Aqua Sox winning both games on the road make this a really uphill battle for the Schens. We'll go to the box score and see what happened here. So for the second game in a row, Everett uses the opener follower. This time, instead of going right to left, they go left to left with Rodon feeding into Steve Carlton. I'll stop short of saying it was a huge success, as Carlton did not have a great outing. 5 1/3 innings, 5 earned runs. Gave up a homer. But it was enough to get the win, as Greg Maddox really struggled for Syracuse. John Smoltz didn't provide much relief out of the bullpen. And Everett was able to hold on through a Herculean relief effort from Lefty Grove, taking 43 pitches to get the final 8 outs of the game. So here's where we stand. The series now shifts to Everett, and let's remember what type of ballpark that is. It's going to be a max BABIP, minimum extra base hits, minimum home runs ballpark, so it's going to play a little differently. We could likely have a lot more base runners, but perhaps less extra base hits. And at least as of this simulation here, we are scheduled to see Corbin Burns for Syracuse, and then Greg Maddox for the Everett Aqua Sox. Now, what we need to do is we need to denote how many home runs were hit. We had Pete Rose. We had Kurt Welch hit 2. So that's 30,000 perfect points for Rob Deere in the headlights. Let me take note of that. Now, if you win perfect points through our hot seat, what I need you to do is go into the Discord and message me with your perfect team username that you want the points on. And you need to correctly capitalize the letters in that so the team can look that up. So Rob Deere in the headlights, if you can help me out with that, that would be great. And as you're doing that, I'm going to go ahead and start a new giveaway for games 3, 4, and 5. All right, the new giveaway is open. So the way to get in on the fun is to type !ticket in the chat. That puts you into the random drawing. One winner will be drawn for games 3, games 4, and games 5. And that winner will have an opportunity to earn an uncapped amount of perfect points. So far tonight, we had 0,000 perfect points in game 1 going out the door, 30,000 perfect points in game 2. As we have the Everett Aqua Sox up 2-0, efforting to become what I believe will be the third team to have 2 Perfect League World Series championships. I like the emote usage in the chat there, great Scott. And for anyone unaware, any emotes you put into the chat will show up on the screen. They will bounce around the matchup analyzer. Emote away. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to load up an off-day sim, and then we're going to look at some global data for Perfect League. just as I go be right back on my screen, and so your emotes don't show up. Sabotaged you all. All right, welcome back. Now we're showing Dwight Gooden for Syracuse to be faced off against the Everett Aqua Sox Greg Maddox in Everett. Now the Syracuse Schens challenge here is to find some way to get the series back to Syracuse. You got to win 2 out of 3. You have to find a way. Now, do you stack up for Game 3? Do you punt on Game 3 because you're facing Maddox? A lot of different ways you can play it. But you have to find a way to win 2 out of 3 in Everett just to get back to Syracuse, to get that home field advantage. Now, Syracuse was dominant at home. Now, they were pretty good on the road, winning 56% of their games on the road over the course of the regular season. So all hope is not lost for them at this point. Let's draw some winners. So closing down the giveaway, Game 3 will be Reddy Defoe. Game 4 will be Ori Helkon, 78. Game 5 will be Caprine Assassin. So let's go ahead and get ready for Game 3. Wow, that's not even close to the right way to spell that. There we go. There we go. So congrats to our winners. Hopefully we have some more perfect points going out the door. We'll close down that giveaway. Reddy Defoe will be next up. All right, let's talk statistics. So one thing that I like to do, and it really hasn't happened much in recent weeks stream for the World Series because we've had really long extra inning games, or I've been playing in the World Series, so I've been trying to pull double duty there to both manage a roster and do a broadcast. We haven't had as much time to get into the data, and I feel like it's important to understand our baseline for a couple of reasons. One, I want you guys to know who's doing well in Perfect League and who's struggling. And 2, we've got Franchise Heroes 3 coming out on Thursday. So we need to have a keen understanding of what the current meta baseline is for us to be able to look at the new cards and figure out what's going to be good, what's going to be something we want to lay off of, what do we want to target to complete our missions. It's really important to understand where we start today. So let's do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, on the right side of your screen, I'm going to show you guys the hitters of the week. And so what this is it's a list sorted by the best hitters. And the reason we do that is because this stream is all about the hitter versus pitcher matchup. Now, it's not the only thing that matters. You know, we want to be looking at other metrics. We want to be looking at defensive statistics, base running statistics. We can look at the game's WAR metric, which is not perfect, but is certainly a decent approximation of overall player value. But for the purposes of this data dive here, we're going to be focused on bat value. And as it relates to this week, our number one hitter in all of Perfect Team is Roger Connor, but look who's right behind him. Look who is so close to Roger Connor he can smell him. It's Billy Hamilton, the new card that dropped last Thursday. 2 Thursdays ago, excuse me. And there's actually more Billy Hamilton in Perfect League than there is Roger Connor. That has to do with the fact that Hamilton is a redeemable special edition card, whereas Connor is a packable 100. So supply and demand, or supply versus supply, really, for that one. That's a different dynamic there. But Billy Hamilton, right behind Roger Connor in 13,000 plate appearances, a 14.21 bat R. And for the rest of this eval, we'll go position by position and just take a look at what we're seeing in Perfect Team. And again, this is just this week. So my matchup analyzer that I show you on a different tab is the trailing 3 weeks. I do that to get enough data for different players. Now for this look, I'm looking at just this week for the freshest data possible. All right, so let's look at catcher. So at catcher, no one really hits. But let's break this down from a platoon perspective, because with catchers, you are always platooning because catchers get tired very quickly. If you have 3 games in a row and you run out the same catcher all 3 of them, they're going to leave that third game extremely tired. So you're going to be playing multiple catchers, so it only makes sense to try to min-max here a bit by having one that's better versus right and one that's better versus left. So we start with versus right. These were our hitting leaders versus right-hand pitching. So Joe Mauer as the only one above water being league average production. Bill Dickey just beneath him there at -1. McCarver a touch back there at -7. Perhaps more of a budget option as opposed to Bill Dickey there. Fisk and Freehand, both bad as expected. Moving on, we'll look at the versus left here. Now, Freehand in 5,000 plate appearances. A little bit above water here at .86. Now, my Freehand was horrific. Let me show you guys my Freehand for a second. My Freehand over the course of the season was -0.7 WAR and had a triple slash of 170, 231, 278. It was a lefty cheese ballpark, so not tuned for his success. But this was just a horrific triple slash for Freehand here. We will move on to first base. And at first base, you'll see Roger Connor versus Wright is just unbeatable. Lou Gehrig is really good. A 13.51 is a really good mark. But Roger Connor is just miles ahead. 25.74. You really can't overstate how much better he is than all other options versus right-hand pitching. Now, next week, because I sold my Connor, I will be trotting out Gehrig in all likelihood. But Roger Connor, absolutely the cream of the crop there. And honestly, I don't expect that to change. I don't expect that to change come Thursday. We may get first baseman. And in all likelihood, we will get first baseman. We'll probably get some pretty powerful ones. But that Roger Connor profile versus Wright, with the base running that he gives you, with the defense that he gives you, I am far from certain that Roger Connor is getting replaced. Let's look at versus left. So versus left, our leader here is Jimmy Fox, 16.13, a good number. Now, the shape of his production is that of a low average masher. So King Butcher, curious why I sold him. I sold him just because I'm going down to Diamond, and I felt a bit overexposed. So I'd spent a very pretty penny to get Connor in the first place, and on the off chance that he was replaced, you know, there's not as much to play for in Diamond as there is to be in Perfect. So if I had made the playoffs this week, there's no way in the world I would have sold my Connor. There's no way in the world I would have sold many of the cards I sold today. But going down to Diamond, where at my earliest, I'm 2 weeks away from competing in Perfect, I didn't want to have that kind of risk on my Perfect Team balance sheet, if you will. All right, we move on to second base here. We'll get a little bit quicker as we don't have a ton of time before the next sim comes in. Versus right second baseman. Now, second base is a really pinched meta right now. There's not a ton of options there. You see Joe Morgan, Jackie Robinson. You have some people shoehorning in Max Bishop here. Not a bad play by any stretch there. Just not something that a ton of people are doing at this point. It's pretty cut and dried picture. Joe Morgan's going to be your play versus right in just about every ballpark, but a righty cheese ballpark. And then Jackie Robinson would replace him there. And then versus left, it's going to be Jackie in every ballpark, even lefty cheese. Let's go to shortstop. So shortstop, we have Arki as really the only positive bat versus right-hand pitching. He's at 7.29 here. Luke Appling came out of the gate really hot versus right-hand pitching, but has just been pushed down this week, even coming down below 0. So negative 1.72 purely with the bat value. Now Appling, not a good base runner. With the glove, he's slightly behind Arki Vaughn too. So Luke Appling just kind of getting pushed down the meta. George Davis, -6 with the bat here. Huey Jennings coming in at -9. Lou Boudreau versus right at -12 here. And then going with the super glove options here with Smith and Andrelton Simmons. Very negative is there as well. Let's look versus left. So versus left, Lou Boudreau jumps all the way up to the top. Lou Boudreau is truly a difference-making bat at the position versus left. Now, the big decision here is just how you want to balance glove versus bat. Lou Boudreau will absolutely carry with the bat versus left. He'll probably be your best hitter or one of them. But with the glove, he's going to significantly lag a player like Simmons, even a player like Arki Vaughn. So it's all about balancing and making sure that the The overall team defense doesn't suffer to the point where his bat contributions that come to you are too little too late. All right, we go on over to third base now. Third base, we've got John Mcgraw at the top of the pile here at 12.23. I see a lot of John Mcgraws on the auction house now. If you're curious what you're going to get with John Mcgraw, you're going to get extreme on base percentage. Let's see what it is. It's actually 381. So extreme on base percentage and not a ton else. He's a good base runner, so when he gets on base, he can do stuff. He can steal bases. He can score from first on a double. He can score from second on a single. But John Mcgraw, not a great defensive player. John Mcgraw, not a great slugger. But his extreme OBP combined with his base running make him a very valuable play. We have Arki Vaughn, who I don't recommend at third base, coming in second here. And then George Davis, who would probably be the Warmax play, coming in at 1.0. Now, as we look at the versus left spectrum here, we've got Mike Schmidt coming in at the highest supply, or the highest total plate appearances here, a little bit over 3,000, coming in at 7.74. Wander Franco, with a decent sample size here at 2,400 at 3.34. Buddy Bell, who actually I thought was going to be closer to Mike Schmidt than this, a small sample, negative 2.83. And then our lefty batters, Mcgraw, Vaughn, and Davis, all coming in pretty darn low, left to be left. All right, we will take a break from looking at data as we move on to our Game 3 sim. If we're able to travel from Game 5 to Game 6, we'll come back to it. We'll close out the hitters with the outfield, and then we'll move on to the pitchers. All right, here we go. Game 3, everyone. Game 3, and we've got Carlos Rodon on the mound. So the one thing that we're seeing with the Aqua Sox every sim is that the advertised starter has never been the person that throws the first pitch. Now, he has used an opener both games. We'll see if that is the case here. This game as well with Rodon. Now, the lineup that he's facing here is very left-hand heavy. So this could be a Rodon to Maddox, or perhaps Rodon to something else. Opener follower. We'll have to see how it plays out. He'll start off with Billy Hamilton here. One-0 count on Billy Hamilton as we get started here in Game 3. The pitch. Little dinker, going to be a really tough play. Connor grabs it, throw to first, not in time. This one was a ground ball into no man's land, and with Billy Hamilton and his 96 speed, it was a recipe for trouble, and that's exactly what the Everett Aqua Sox and Carlos Rodon get here. It's a leadoff single from a very prolific base runner. He works his way on over to third over the course of the next 2 outs, and now Lou Gehrig here has a chance to drive him in the top of the first. The pitch. And Lou Gehrig crushes this one. Deep to right field, out into the bay. A water shot for Lou Gehrig here in the first. It is 2-0 Schens. 10,000 perfect points to Reddy Defoe. We go bottom 2. Aqua Sox fans doing that let's go chant they're so famous for. And Ichiro will bat against Doc Gooden with Roger Connor aboard. 1-2 count. The pitch. Little blooper left field. Hamilton will have to play it on a hop. The Aqua Sox now have 2 aboard, nobody out, with Arki Vaughn due up. Vaughn down on the count 0-2. The pitch. And it gets away from Dickey. Dickey chases it down. That's going to be a wild one. Gone is the double play opportunity. And now with 2 runners in scoring position, Arki Vaughn can really do some damage. 2-2 count. Vaughn strikes out, and now Bill Dickey will be the one that has to carry the torch. The pitch. This one's crushed to left center field. All the way to the wall. Roger Connor scores. Ichiro Suzuki scores. Sliding into second is Bill Dickey. It's a 2 RBI double. It's going to give us a brand new ball game here in the second. 2-2. Aqua Sox fans with their famous let's go chant again. If it's not broken, don't fix it. We go top 4. Greg Maddox into this game for the Aqua Sox, looking to hold it here. Lou Gehrig is aboard, though, as he faces Joe Morgan. The pitch. Morgan shoots this one to center. That ball's going to be played on a hop by Kurt Welch. Lou Gehrig aggressively seeking third base. He'll get there without a throw. It is now first and third. Joe Morgan steals second base, giving the Schens second and third, 1 out. The Aqua Sox defense not playing the infield in here, conceding the run, trying to stay out of the big inning. 0-1 count on Dickey. The pitch. Ground ball on over to short. It'll be played and throw on over to first in time. Second out of the inning. But scoring on the play is Lou Gehrig. And taking the lead is Syracuse, 3-2. We go bottom 5 now. Aqua Sox working from behind. Joe Morgan will bat against Dwight Gooden. The pitch. Morgan shoots this one to right. That's going to be a base hit. Line drive, base hit to right field from Morgan. It was a payoff pitch. A full count. Gooden grooved a fastball. Morgan turned on it and lifted it out to right field. Suzuki plays it on a hop. Next up, George Davis. He'll bat with nobody out. The pitch. Line drive up the middle, base hit, Davis. Morgan will stop at second. Aqua Sox in business here in the 5th. Billy Hamilton now bats with a full count. Hamilton, we showed you, one of the more dangerous hitters in all, a perfect team. We'll show you just how dangerous in the matchup analyzer. There's Gooden, there's Hamilton. Massive advantage to the hitter on this one. Full count. The pitch. Little ground ball, going to be a really tough play. Grounded to short, throw to first. Not in time. Safe, safe. They call Hamilton safe at first. He beats out the Huey Jennings throw for an infield single. Billy Hamilton's speed having an impact on the play here. It was a little squibber, somehow evades Doc Gooden, gets behind the mound, and Huey Jennings, despite fielding this one on a dead sprint, fielding and throwing in the same motion, not enough to get the speedy Hamilton. They are now loaded with nobody out. Up comes Kurt Welch. We don't see a ton of Kurt Welch. Let's check out the matchup analyzer. Here's Welch versus right, Gooden versus right. Advantage to the pitcher on this one. However, the infield is drawn in. That is said to add a good bit to your batting average, and especially in a park like this, perhaps that's just what the doctor ordered for Kurt Welch. 2-0 count. The pitch from Gooden. Fly ball center field. Welch is there. Not super deep. Could be a play at the plate. The catch. The throw home. Here comes Morgan. Safe! Joe Morgan beats the throw from Welch, and we have a tie ball game. With 1 out here in the 5th. Up comes Willie Keeler. Look at your box score, though. This is an icy cold Willie Keeler. Can he break out of it here in the 5th? The pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Gooden challenges him with the fastball, and Keeler was no match for it. That's the 2nd out of the inning here in the 5th. Up comes Roger Connor. Last hope for the Sox to capitalize on this big 5th inning. And again, not any old Roger Connor. Why, this right here, as you can see with the lineup card on the right side of your screen, this is a fire Roger Connor. He's down on the count, 1-2. The pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Dwight Gooden gets himself into trouble, but strikes his way out of it. Back-to-back strikeouts of Keeler and Connor escape the inning with us tied at 3. We head to the top of the 6th. We now go top 7. Still in this game for the Aqua Sox is Greg Maddox. He pitches here in this tie ball game. He's got Bill Dickey aboard at first, and batting is Kurt Welch. The pitch. And Kurt Welch crushes this one deep left center. Going back is Hamilton. He'll make the grab. A dangerous ball off the bat, but Billy Hamilton able to keep that one in the ballpark and record the 2nd out in this 7th inning. Batting next is Ichiro Suzuki. Not known for his walking, he's got a 3-0 advantage here on Maddox. The pitch. Ball 4, fastball misses down. The extremely rare 4-pitch walk issued by Greg Maddox will bring up Huey Jennings, who's going to be pinch hit for. So Huey Jennings was on the lineup card, but the Syracuse Schens going to the bench, bringing up Wander Franco in this big spot here in the 7th, looking to untie this game. Let's look at Wander Franco versus right-hand pitching. Let's also look at Greg Maddox versus left-handed batting. Advantage to Maddox on this one, but Maddox has fallen behind now 3-0. 7 consecutive balls from Maddox. Let's see what happens next. The pitch, ball 4. 2 4-pitch walks in a row from Maddox. Not what you want to see if you are a fan of the Aqua Sox, as they are now loaded. And going from a -8 BAT-R hitter, you are moving on to something a whole lot more dangerous than that in Billy Hamilton. Keep an eye on the matchup analyzer and see just how stark the contrast will be as you go from Wander Franco to Billy Hamilton, an .816 OPS hitter versus right-hand pitching. A huge moment in this Game 3 as the Aqua Sox are efforting to grow their lead to a 3-0 series advantage. 0-1 count. The pitch. Line drive to second base and fielded. Throw to first in time. Maddox goes to the circle change. Gets Billy Hamilton to roll over on it. Joe Morgan ranges to his left a couple of feet, fields it, throws it, gets the speedy Hamilton, ends the inning. And we stretch here in Everett. All tied up 3-3. We go top 8. Still in this game is Maddox. A little surprising. Maddox has been fighting it from a command perspective. From a pitch count perspective, he's got to be climbing. I'm surprised to still see him in this ball game, but he'll pitch to Arki Vaughn here with 1 away and nobody out. Line and the pitch. Arki Vaughn shoots this one right up the middle. A base hit straight through the box. A 1-out single. OOT Meme Lord helping me out here. Remember to stretch, chat. We don't want anyone pulling a muscle here as we move on to the final third of this Game 3. Up next, Lou Gehrig. 2-2 count on him. Infield shifted. Strike 3 called. Greg Maddox able to throw the backdoor fastball here. The left-handed batter gives up on as it looks like it's targeted right at the right shoulder. And at about 40 feet, it takes a right-hand turn, dips into the strike zone, and then leaves them heading back to the dugout. Exactly what happens here to Luke Gehrig, second out of this inning. And now representing the last hope for the Schens in the 8th inning is Joe Morgan. Fans stay on their feet here. The pitch. Ground ball to first. Connor has it. Throw to first. In time. No! Joe Morgan beats it out. An infield single. Arki Vaughn takes second on the play. A little bit of a miscommunication here between Connor and Maddox will extend this 8th inning. And bring up Bill Dickey. Now a big moment in this game. Maddox has been dodging raindrops for much of this game. Can he dodge one more big one here in the 8th? 1-1 count. The pitch. Little flare. Going to be a tough play. Connor goes back and makes the grab. Roger Connor able to make an athletic play. Basically running straight back like Willie Mays. And Basket catches this one just on the fringe of the infield-outfield to end the inning here in the 8th. We go to the bottom half, tied at 3. Here in the bottom half, Schmidt and Connor have gone down in order, and now Ichiro bats with 2 outs and nobody on. He'll face the Schens' Tommy Glavin. Wind and the pitch. Little dinker on down to third. Going to be a tough play. Wander's got it. Has trouble getting it out of his glove. He'll go ahead and eat it. That's going to be an infield single for Ichiro. A lot of infield singles in this game here tonight. Ichiro steals second base, and now Bill Dahlin bats with an opportunity to untie it. We don't see a lot of Bill. Let's see what his stats look like versus left, and let's compare him to Tommy Glavin. Advantage to the hitter on this one. As you see, Glavin does struggle versus right-handed batters, and he struggles primarily with the long ball, giving up 1.64 home runs per 9 innings pitched. Can Bill dial 9 for long distance here? 2-2 count, the pitch. Strike 3 called. Tommy Glavin dropping down to that trademark sidearm changeup. Gets the call. Ends the inning, and it's going to push us to the 9th here in a tie ball game. Here in the 9th, leading off is Richie Ashburn. He'll face Dwight Gooden. 2-2 count on him. The pitch. Ground ball up the middle. Easy pitch, easy catch there for Joe Morgan. It's 1 up and 1 down to lead off the inning. Now 2 outs here in the 9th. Up comes Wander Franco. 1-2 count on him. Fans on their feet looking to punch him out. The pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Check out your radar gun, ladies and gentlemen. That's 3 digits for Dwight Gooden. 100 mph as he blows gas right by Wander Franco and gives his team a chance to walk it off in the bottom half. Bender guy won with the comment of the night. Glavin still getting that call a 1.5 feet outside the corner, which was my existence for the better part of the 90s, watching and hating the Braves. We go to the bottom of the 9th. Jackie Robinson will lead us off. He's a pinch hitter for the Aqua Sox. He'll face Tommy Glavin here. Wind and the pitch. Line drive up the middle base hit. Jackie Robinson turns around a 100-mile-an-hour heater and does so to the tune of a leadoff single. Robinson, a great base runner in terms of raw speed and in terms of base running skill. Not quite the base stealer, though. Up comes Bill Freehand now. He's a pinch hitter here. Freehand, not the best hitter in the world. I don't know how good of a bunter he is here. He's not a good one. So he's an 11-sack bunt. If it were me, though, I'd rather have him bunting than trying to avoid the double play here. We'll see what happens with the Everett Aqua Sox. I don't think that people have bunt sliders going on Bill Freehand very often, given how bad he is at it. But I would just be terrified to roll into one here. 1-0 count. The pitch. Fly ball left field. Gonna be playable. Hamilton over. He'll make the grab. That's the first out of the inning. Now, luckily for the Aqua Sox, Freehand only made one out. And the inning, and Jackie Robinson will remain on base. Now, into this game comes Gaylord Perry. Gaylord Perry replacing Tom Glavin is an interesting choice. Now, the reason it's interesting is because we're flipping George Davis around, and that's exactly what you don't want to do. So here's George Davis versus left. This is the George Davis that we were going to see had Glavin stayed in this ballgame. But Glavin is removed, perhaps due to pitch count, perhaps due to effectiveness. One way or the other, Glavin is removed, so now we no longer see this George Davis, but rather we will see this George Davis. A much better hitter for average, OBP, slug, OPS, bat R, much more dangerous player. Now, what you are getting out of that exchange is you're getting a healthy, rested pitcher in Gaylord Perry. We'll check him out here. Gaylord Perry versus left. So advantage to the hitter here. We'll see what works out. One out. Jackie aboard. Wind and the pitch. Line drive to first. He'll take it to the bag himself, heading on to second. Advancing on the play is Jackie. It's a 3 unassisted, but now Jackie is in scoring position as the lineup flips over for Billy Hamilton. It appears as if Hamilton was walked, Kurt Welch was walked, and then up comes Mike Schmidt with the game on the line. Fans on their feet here, this place ready to explode if Schmidt is able to come through. Now Schmidt not much of a hitter versus right. Gaylord Perry much better versus right. So advantage goes to the pitcher here, but check out that count in the top left corner. Gaylord Perry has fallen behind 3-1. He's got no room to put Schmidt. This pitch has to enter the zone, or it's going to be the classic walk-off walk. 3-1 count, 2 out. Game 3, hanging in the balance. The pitch. He takes it low. That's ball 4. Gaylord Perry goes to the slider, misses low, and the Everett Aqua Sox will walk off this one. They earn their dance on top of the catcher at home plate here as they win this one by a final score of 4-3 on a walk-off walk by Mike Schmidt. Now, we questioned the Gaylord Perry AI decision the moment it happened with George Davis in the batter's box. He did retire Davis, but couldn't retire Hamilton or Welch, leading up to Mike Schmidt, who works the walk, the 5-pitch walk, and wins the game. Fireworks for the Aqua Sox, and a 3-0 series lead. As the display on your screen tells you, this next game will have the championship trophy in the building. The Aqua Sox are now 1 win away from being a 2-time Perfect League champion. Let me bring up their team history again. This is what the Everett Aqua Sox have done in Perfect League. 6 weeks of Perfect League existence, 2 relegations, 1 World Series win, and now 1 win away from a second. So how did Reddy Defoe do in that game from a home run perspective? Looks like we had Lou Gehrig and Lou Gehrig alone. So I will take note of that. Now, Reddy Defoe, make sure you get me your Out of the Park username if you haven't already. And then let's go ahead and update for our next game. It's going to be Ori Halcyon 78. All right, so Ori Halson in the hot seat, looking for more than a single home run. We'll see if we can provide it. Let's see what pitchers we have coming. We've got Corbin Burns listed for both sides. If I'm a betting man, I would guess that the Everett Corbin Burns will likely be opened for. Now, the Syracuse Corbin Burns has had one heck of a postseason. As we check that out, they've got 2 starts, both of them excellent. 7 innings plus in each, 2 runs or less in each as well. Both wins. Now, don't forget, DishNet's going on live right when we're done here. So if you've still got some drops to collect, or if you just want the hot knowledge that Dish is going to be dropping on you guys. As I think Dish is recovering from a season in gold, so hopefully Dish worked his way out of gold and he's coming right back to diamond. But I won't spoil it. No spoilers in the chat. Looks like others are doing that job for me. All right, we've got 4 minutes left here. Let's finish out our stat run through. Mike ABC in silver now. Love it. All right, let's look at left field. So again, we're looking bottom right corner of your screen here. We're going through observed statistics in Perfect League from this week. As far as hitters versus right-hand pitching in left field, it's Billy Hamilton, and then a huge gap, and then everyone else. We have Carl Yastrzemski, Juan Soto, Sam Crawford, Pete Rose, Stan Musial, all hanging around in a similar area. I'll say it's like a good, not great bat area. None of them overly great base runners either. None of them overly great defenders. Maybe Soto being the best of the bunch there. Sam Crawford having the most utility value. And then as we go further down, we have Jim O'Rourke as the best right-handed batter versus right-hand pitching. Ned Hanlon as a great defender, a great base runner, but not a great bat. Frank Robinson as another right-on-right option for you if you've got a bunch of perfect points. And then Raines and Medwick. Now let's go look at versus left. Now with versus left, we have Medwick as the head of the class. Medwick at 15.5, doubling up Ricky Henderson. Now the difference between Medwick and Ricky Henderson is with Medwick, I really don't want to put him out in the field. I'd prefer, if I've got him on my team, which I did this week, I would prefer to have him as DH only. Whereas Henderson, you can put in left and feel fine about it. And Henderson's also going to give you a ton of value with his base running. So on the games where you're facing a right-handed starting pitcher and Henderson is not in the lineup, he is almost always going to end up in that game if you've got your sliders on point as a pinch runner late. Or as a pinch hitter late as a left-handed reliever comes in. So Henderson, even on his non-starts, can add a lot of value, whether stealing a base late or coming up with a decent hit late. Whereas Medwick is really pure bat. And you see that reflected here. Jim O'Rourke, 4.72. Raines, a 3.83. Our lefties down here, not horrible. Like Yaz, -6. Hamilton, -8. Crawford, -17. That's really not atrocious, but it's also not great. We move on over to the other corner. Looking at the other corner, we have Pete Rose actually leading the week, just edging out Paul Wainer at 8.63. Jim O'Rourke at 5.84. Sammy Crawford, Ichiro Suzuki. Ichiro, I know a lot of people were interested to see how well he would hit. He ended up hitting right at league average. 0.03 for Ichiro. His triple slash was 297, 335, 386. So there are a lot of parks that you can work with to get the most out of Ichiro. If he's going to hit right around 300, even if he's not giving you a ton on the slug or the OBP, you can still work with that, especially in a high BABIP park. But Ichiro is not going to be someone who's going to hit a bunch of home runs. He's not going to be someone who's going to walk a bunch. He is a batting average and defense guy. I would stop short of saying that he's a great base runner too, because he's not going to be able to steal many bases. However, he still will run the bases well when advancing on the batted balls. And then Willie Keeler coming in beneath Ichiro at 0.03. Let's look at versus left. So Pete Rose, in a short sample here, coming in as the best bat versus left. That's not where he lives versus left if we look at his global numbers, so don't read too much into that. However, Harry Heilman above 10 here is where he lives, and he would represent one of the best options VL in right field. However, Harry Heilman, similar to Medwick, is not someone that I want packing a glove. DH only. If you need someone who's got a glove who can hit left-handed pitching, Al Kaline, a much better option for you. All right, and with that, that concludes our jaunt to... No, we need center field. We can't forget about center field. So in center field, we have Billy Hamilton crushing the field. Well ahead of Ashburn, well ahead of DiMaggio, well ahead of Hines. Now, the trade-off here is that Hamilton is not as good of a center fielder as Hines or Charleston or Welch or Hanlon or Flood. So it becomes this fun decision about where you play Hamilton. You're going to play him. Do you put him in a corner? Do you put him in center? Do you put him at DH? I can't say that there is a definitive right or wrong answer to any of those. For those people that played him in center, they saw him vastly outperform all other center field bats at the cost of defense for sure. But at the end of the day, you have to team build. You have to make your own decision about how much defense you're willing to give up in exchange for offense. As we look at versus left production, Joe DiMaggio, head of the class here at 16.46. Billy Hamilton coming in ahead of 0 as well here at 7.84. Ahead of Curt Flood, too. A little surprising on that one. All right, we'll load up our Game 4 sim. Again, championship trophy in the building. If the Aqua Sox are able to take this one, they will be champions. Let's see what happens. So we start off our Game 4, and we're starting with a bunt for a hit by Hamilton. It does not go successfully here. Walker Buehler able to retire him for the first out of the game. The live play-by-play text trying to keep up. Now we go top 2. Buehler still on the hill. He'll face Lou Gehrig. Wide and the pitch. And Gehrig crushes this one into the well in right center. That's going for extras. Digging it out of the corner is Ichiro. He'll keep Gehrig at second. That's a leadoff double. Next batter, Bill Freehan. 0-1 count on him. Wide and the pitch. And Freehan shoots this one to the wall as well. Back-to-back extra base hits for the Schens will put them on the board first in Game 4 as they now lead 1-0. Still top second. It's 2-0 Schens. They are looking to add it on here. Corbin Burns into this game. A right-handed follower. And he'll face Billy Hamilton in a very tough spot here. Bases loaded, 1 out. The pitch. Chopper to third. Not a chopper. Looper. And that ball's caught by George Davis. Everyone has to return. That's the second out of this inning. And now Wander Franco comes up. The pitch to Franco. Pop up on the infield. Should be playable. Who's going to grab it? Arki shifts over. He makes the grab, and that will end the inning. The Schens do strike first. They now lead 2-0 as we head to the bottom of the second. Here in the bottom of the second, we've got Ichiro aboard. He's on second with 1 away for Arki Vaughn. 3-1 count for Arki. The pitch from Burns, that's going to miss low. Went to the off-speed pitch. And now there's 2 aboard and 1 out for Bill Dickey. 2-1 count on Dickey. The pitch. And Dickey laces this one to right field, a base hit. Suzuki around third. He's going to try to score. Here comes the throw from Ichiro. Not in time. Not in time. A great throw from Ichiro. Not fast enough to catch Suzuki at the plate. It is now 2-1. Next up is Joe Morgan. 0-2 count on Joe, the pitch. Little blooper on the infield. It's a foul ball or else it'd be infield fly rule. Catching it in foul territory is Wander Franco for the second out of the inning. Up comes George Davis. The pitch. And Davis shoots one to left field. On the run and having to play it on a hop is Hamilton. A base hit for George Davis. Somehow Arki Vaughn got the world's worst jump as he does not score on this one. He is held up at third. It will be bases loaded, 2 outs for Billy Hamilton. Here is Hamilton versus Corbin Burns. It's a first opportunity to use our matchup analyzer in this one in a huge moment early in the game. Corbin Burns versus left. Give me Billy Hamilton versus right. A huge advantage to the hitter. 2-2 count. The pitch. This ball is belted to center field, but a great running catch by Kurt Welch. That will end the inning. The Aqua Sox score 1 on 3 hits, but they leave the bases loaded and leave the Schens in the lead as we head to the third. Here in the third, Pete Rose has gotten aboard to lead off this inning, and up comes Gehrig. 2-1 count on Lou. The pitch. And Lou gets into one. Deep to right center. He has now headed into the well for the second time this game. Ichiro gives chase, gets it, fires it in, somehow able to keep Pete Rose from scoring. It is now second and third, nobody out, with Corbin Burns struggling. Burns gives up one more run there. It is now 3-1 Schens as we go to the top of the fourth. Another rally for the Schens here in the fourth. Rose will bat. 2 aboard. The pitch, and this one is smoked out to center. That's another base hit. Huey Jennings around third. He will score. Going first to third is Hamilton. Advancing to second on the throw is Rose. It is 4-1 Schens with 2 outs here in the fourth. We now fast forward all the way to the bottom of the eighth. As into this game comes Tommy Glavin for the Schens. He'll face pinch hitting Mike Schmidt with 1 out. 0-2 count. Wind and the pitch. And this one is shot to right field, a base hit. A good piece of hitting here from Mike Schmidt. He got the off-speed pitch. The changeup that Tommy Glavin is so known for. And Schmidt turns it around, goes the opposite field, and gets aboard. The Aqua Sox need base runners more than anything else right now, and they've got their first one here in the eighth. No additional runs scored, though. We go to the ninth. Up comes Hamilton. He'll face Bob Gibson. Wind and the pitch. And Gibson, base hit right field. Just under the glove of Joe Morgan at second base. He does not score in the inning. We go bottom 9. Into this game as the closer is Zach Wheeler. He'll face Roger Connor to start this inning. 2-1 count. Wind and the pitch. Connor, a little dinker. Going to be a tough play. Gehrig has it. Throw to first. Not in time. Roger Connor hustling the entire way. Leads off this ninth inning with an infield hustle single. Up next is Ichiro and the crowd into it. 1-1 count on Ichiro. The pitch. This one shot to left field, but that's going to be a can of corn for Billy Hamilton. That's the first out of this inning. Roger Connor retreats to first. Next up, Arki Vaughn. 2-2 count on him. The pitch. Ground ball in the infield, could be two, to second, one, to first, double play. And the Syracuse Schens have won their first World Series game, stealing Game 4 by a final score of 4-1. They extend the series to at least 5, and we'll be back in this building tomorrow night trying to push the series back to Syracuse. Some road fireworks for the Schens. The road team now 3-1 in this series. All right, we will roll right into Game 5. Right into Game 5, and the Aqua Sox coming out hot with Dwight Gooden. He'll face the same lineup that is headed by Billy Hamilton here. The pitch to Hamilton. Ground ball to first. Connor has it, taking the bag himself. It's 1 up and 1 down. Dishnet in the chat, wondering if we'll have a reverse sweep, whereas we have Jersey Driver wondering if we'll have the gentleman's sweep. Both still in play. We go top 2, and Rixey, the follower for the Aqua Sox. Now into this game, he's got Ichiro aboard at second as he's facing Jackie Robinson. Has Jackie down in the count 0-2. Fans on their feet looking for the strikeout, but Jackie shoots this one left side. Base hit. Around third is Ichiro. He will score ahead of the throw of Hamilton. It is 1-0 Schens. One of the keys we said in the pregame was for Syracuse to take this crowd out of it, and scoring early is the best way to do so. They strike first. This is Game 5, Caprine Assassin. Yep, let's update the hot seat. Good point. We've got to get Caprine Assassin into that hot seat. There you go. Name up in lights. Perfect fit. We go bottom 3. The Aqua Sox send Kurt Welch to the plate against Rixey. The pitch. And Kurt Welch crushes this one. Deep left center. Gone! A home run for the Aqua Sox. And not a moment too soon for Caprine Assassin. 10,000 perfect points off the top rope in a newly tied game. Some fireworks at home for the Aqua Sox. Billy Hamilton now reaches versus Epa, and they send Roger Connor up, looking to strike while Rixey is rattled. The pitch. And Connor loops this one to left center. That ball's actually going to get down. A little BABIP monster single for the Aqua Sox. Roger Connor jammed on the play, but as strong as he is, able to muscle that one out beyond shortstop. Huey Jennings gave chance, reached up, unable to make the grab. Hustling Billy Hamilton moves on into second base. And now the Aqua Sox with a legitimate rally here in the third. Next batter, Bill Freehand. 2-2 count on him. The pitch. This one flared to right field and down. Billy Hamilton holds at second to make sure that ball gets down. Almost a perfect mirror play from the one before it. Connor flared out behind shortstop. Bill Freehand flares out behind second base. Some tough luck for Rixey here, as a couple of exit velos that can't be over 80 miles an hour result in back-to-back singles and result in a bases-loaded rally here for the Aqua Sox. In what could be a turning point in this game, they'll send up Pete Rose versus left. Let's get the matchup analyzer involved. Pete Rose versus left. Rixey versus right. Advantage to the hitter on this one. The pitch. Line drive, base hit, right field. Scoring is Hamilton. Here comes Connor. The throw, not in time. Opposite field single for Pete Rose, plates 2. Hamilton and Connor in rapid succession touch home, and it's now a 3-1 Aqua Sox lead. Still in the third. Rixey battling to try to get out of it. He's got to get through Ichiro Suzuki. We haven't seen Ichiro versus left yet in this series. Let's take a look at what it looks like. Ichiro versus left, a 320 hitter. Unbelievable. Full count on him. The pitch. This one shot to left field. Down, a base hit. A base hit. Bill Freehand will score. Pete Rose will go first to third. It is now 4-1 Aqua Sox. Now we go bottom 5. The Aqua Sox looking to add even more. 2 outs, Connor on second. Now John Smoltz into this game. Smoltz delivers, and this ball is crushed. This ball is absolutely crushed into the bay for Arki Vaughn. Makes it 6-1 Aqua Sox. An absolute moonshot there for Arki Vaughn. John Smoltz got a little cute with a breaking ball, perhaps his third best pitch, and he hung this one right down Main Street. Arki Vaughn put a big swing on it, didn't miss it, and it now goes to a kayaker out in right field. 10,000 more perfect points for Caprine Assassin, and now a 5-run lead for the Aqua Sox. Scratch that, make it a 6-run lead as we're into the top of the 9th. With 2 outs, the Syracuse Schens down to their final out as Epa Rixey will throw against Lou Gehrig. We'll set up the matchup for what could be our final batter of this series. Fans on their feet. Rixey set. Rixey delivers. Line drive to third base and a diving catch! A diving catch by George Davis, and he'll be mobbed on the field. The Aqua Sox have won the World Series. 2-time champion Twins fan has now won the World Series 4-1 over the Syracuse Schens. This game ending on a hot shot diving catch by third baseman George Davis. He was shifted on over to the shortstop position, perfectly positioned and poised to put the squeeze on this one and put the Aqua Sox into the record books. We will update our display as the fireworks continue to rage on beyond the left field bleachers. Fiddlin' Narrow asking where Everett is. I don't know, but I am imagining it's a fine place. We will take a look at our final box score of the series, and in so doing, we find that the Everett pitching duo of Gooden to Rixey was too much. Too much for the Syracuse team to handle, as Gooden goes 4 outs, giving up no runs, and then Rixey takes it the rest of the way. Rixey goes 7 2/3, only allowing 4 base hits, 1 earned run, throws 105 pitches, polishing off a memorable and historic Game 5 victory. On the other side, there was trouble. Noodles Hahn gave a successful open for Syracuse, but Epa Rixey did not have it as a follower, only able to record 3 outs before the coach goes to the bullpen and brings in John Smoltz, who didn't have a lot of answers. Now, one thing that I'm noticing here is on the Everett side, we have a 6-0 Epa Rixey. A 6-0 Epa Rixie. You know what that means? That means that Rixie made 6 starts in the postseason and won 6 games. We see that he was able to victimize the Burlington Big Stick. He was able to win a game versus the Cartier Cutthroats. He was able to win 2 games versus the Copenhagen Achievers, and then winning 2 World Series games as well. A postseason ERA of 1.20, giving up 2 earned runs or less in every postseason start, earning Player of the Game honors in all 6 of his post-game starts as well. Absolutely putting the team on your back. Now, we have never had an MVP, as long as I've been doing these Perfect Team World Series broadcasts, we've never had an MVP that was a pitcher. If there ever was a time to do it, wouldn't it be now? A 4-1 series victory where a single pitcher was responsible for 2 of those 4. Let's go check. Let's go check. After I get a little background music for us to enjoy. There we go. Here we go. Series MVP is Kurt Welch. Sorry, Epa. Not meant to be, man. 6-0 doesn't cut it here. So let's see what Kurt Welch did. Kurt Welch. Wow. So Kurt Welch didn't really get a ton of hits, but the hits that he got were impactful. He batted .235 in the series, but 3 of his 4 hits were home runs. So his slugging percentage comes out to be .765, and OPS well over 1 when you combine it with his .364 OBP. So not a horrible selection at all. I just would have liked to see Epa Rixie in his 14 2/3 innings and his 1.2 ERA and his 2 games won within the series celebrated. Call me crazy. So congratulations to the Everett Aqua Sox, managed by Twins fan. You are now a perfect league champion 2 times over. Now, it's funny. I'll say there's almost a phenomena. When you see a team barely scrape into the playoffs, that team is oftentimes a very dangerous one. Now, the Everett Aqua Sox, as we see from the standings here, were able to outlast the NorCal Crash by 1 game, 83-80. Now, I was joking last night that Sparrow might be the team to beat, as he needed 163 games to get into the postseason. Actually made it with an 81-win, 82-loss season. But not meant to be. It was the Everett Aqua Sox winning this one, outdoing the Syracuse Schens, who were in their first week in Perfect League, their first postseason, and their first World Series. So congratulations to the Schens for making it to the show. And now you can focus on winning it within the show in weeks 2 and beyond. Now, the good news is for everyone on your screen here, every single one of these teams gets to come back next week and do it all over again. Roll it back. Try to make the playoffs again. Try to win the World Series again. For those not so fortunate that have been scrolling on the bottom of your screen all broadcast tonight, including myself, we will be on our way to Diamond, and those 24 spots will be filled by each Diamond League's winner. So we'll look forward to next week. We will look forward to crowning a new champion. And then tonight, you guys can look forward to hanging out with Dish. So let me go ahead and get us ready to send you guys on over there. As I'm doing that, I want to thank you all for being part of the broadcast tonight, for interacting in the chat, for being wonderful supporters of the stream. And we'll be right back at it come next Sunday. Same time, same place. As we've got some crazy thunder going on here.